When the midday hunger pangs hit,
KSL's top story this hour.
make Utah's new news your lunch break companion.
Good afternoon, Maria. We do have delays.
Stay updated with in-depth reports on the day's biggest stories and updated weather. Utah's new news with Maria Chaleos. Weekdays noon to 1 on KSL News Radio.
How many things affect your life as much as slow traffic and bad weather? Listen tomorrow morning for traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the nines on KSL News Radio.
You're listening to the season debut of Cougar Nation, Season 2, sponsored by Central Bank. There's multiple ways to interact with the show. Of course, this is a call-in show for you, Cougar Nation, and you can call us at 801-575-8255. You can text us as well. If you don't want to call but you want to get a thought in, we'll get to your texts. 57500. Here's a text, Mitch. 7557. After this, we'll get back to the phone line. So keep calling in your thoughts on who should be the starting quarterback this Saturday. Here's the text. It's the fact that A-Rod hasn't made a decision on the starting quarterback. Is that a sign of indecisiveness from the coordinator?
It very well could be. You know, this is a quarterback race. This is not Zach Wilson, Jaron Hall. This is not, I always point to Jim McMahon, Mark Wilson, an iconic quarterback battle of yesteryear. This is a battle of two guys that have had some good days. They've also had some average days, and they're kind of the same guy in many respects. And Aaron Roderick even said today that the offense doesn't change much between these two quarterbacks. It could be indecisiveness because this is a critical decision, Matt. You get this wrong, and you have to dig into your quarterback depth. Is Aaron Roderick back next year? That's a question. He's on the hot seat going into this year. Last year's offense for BYU was terrible. It was one of the worst in college football, and it was probably the worst in the Big 12. It's got to get better. They've made some changes on the staff with the tight end coach. Kevin Gilbride comes in, offensive line coach TJ Woods, and TJ Woods' role in this offense is huge as the run game coordinator. But Aaron Roderick has got to perform and get this right with the QB unit because I don't subscribe to the thought of playing two quarterbacks all the time. SMU, BYU's week 2 opponent, is doing that right now. I don't like that. You want to go with one guy, give him the job, and let him operate. Hold up, let him cook, as my kids say. Let him cook. So we expect that, Retzlaff's trending to being towards being that starting quarterback because how he closed fall camp, he was impressive.
Yeah.
And it gave you confidence that he can be a new guy. But I do believe there's a little bit of indecisiveness here with Roderick.
Back to the phone line, 801-575-8255. Who do you want to start at quarterback in the opener this Saturday? Thomas from West Haven, who do you want to start at quarterback?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited for college football, excited for BYU football, but I think I want Retzlaff on. I don't know. I don't know if I see the benefit of a super senior last year in football. I think we've got to get some long-term plans in play here, and I think Retzlaff, if he's going to come back another season, that would be helpful to get some momentum that way. So that's my opinion.
I agree, Thomas. I think that's goes into the decision because if he has a good year, Mitch, you're rolling back next year. You look at some of the teams that are projected to compete for a national championship. By no means am I saying BYU's with this group of teams. But Texas, Quinn Ewers has been there for a minute. Georgia, they've got Carson Beck. He's been there for a minute. So a lot of these teams that have a lot of success, and I know they're recruiting at a different level. It's not fair to compare BYU with Georgia and Texas. But you have a lot of success when you have returning quarterbacks. Sure. It's hard to just every single year dip into the portal and bring someone in and run it back year after year. That's not ideal. And if Jake ends up being the guy and is good, you got the luxury of saying, he could be the guy next year. And you got to wonder if that plays into it too, because you like to have someone like BYU's had in the past where you have Zach for multiple years. You have Jaron for multiple years. In recent time, you've been shuffling that quarterback more than you'd like, and success has not followed.
Jake has improved this season. Is he a completely new quarterback? I don't know about that. He looks better physically. He looks like he's lost a little bit of weight. He looks like he's just a better overall athlete this season. The way he's throwing the football, you can see the impact John Beck has had on him. Gary Bohannon's also worked with John Beck, too, in Provo and in Southern California. But Retzlaff's improved. He's taking care of the football in camp. But the thing is that, Retzlaff had many opportunities last year to just close the door shut on this job and get and win the job. And they didn't win a ball game. They haven't won a ball game since last October. Let's get back out to the phone line. Spencer from St. George. He wants to weigh in on the quarterback battle. Where are you leaning, Spencer, on this quarterback debate?
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. I think about all the points that have been made and everything with the battle between the two, where one's ahead of the other, depending on the week you look at and things, and the upside with Jake having another year after this year already available to him. But my take is that he's already been in the system for a year, and if he couldn't separate himself already having that advantage, I personally would go with Bohannon just for the athletics, personally.
Thanks for the call, Spencer. And the thing is that, but what's always been interesting to me is that they were on even footing, him and Bohannon, throughout fall camp. Bohannon was not fully healthy until May. So even with a spring football where Bohannon did not look good, me and you, Matt, we came out of spring thinking, geez, Retzlaff's going to easily win this job because Bohannon did not look good at all. He could not complete a deep pass. Looked a lot better in fall camp. I think what's also an issue, Matt, is that this fan base, Cougar Nation, they know what greatness is at the BYU quarterback position. And to be in the stage in the Big 12 where they have been dreaming of this for so many years, and then to finally get here, and you kind of fumbled the bag at quarterback. Yeah. You hope it's going to work out with Retzlaff. I know everyone in Cougar Nation is going to be pulling for him, Bohannon, whoever's in those games, they're going to be pulling for him. But this is not Zach Wilson. This is not Jaron Hall. This is not Taysom Hill.
It's not Baylor Romney.
Exactly. That's not even Baylor Romney. You have Baylor Romney last year. You probably go to a bowl.
Right.
It's just, I think that's what's discouraging is this now the new norm for BYU football at the quarterback? Because it didn't matter what your conference situation was, BYU was always churning out a pipeline of studs. Yeah, there's been some dips. There were some stretches in the Bronco era, the Crowan era, even Lavelle, where it wasn't always perfect. But, man, you always felt like there was some big-time stud waiting in the wings. Who's that guy? Is it down the road McKay Hillstead?
Maybe.
Maybe. I like him. He had some deep passes in fall camp that made me think, he's got a pretty big arm. But it's just that's what's kind of, I think, frustrating for Cougar Nation right now is that this is not – BYU football is known for great quarterback play. They are an innovator. They are one of the best in the business when it comes to playing quarterback, and they're nowhere near that. And that's discouraging when you finally got to the stage you've been dreaming of for decades.
The phone line is lighting up. Cougar Nation has thoughts on this quarterback battle, Mitch. And we love your participation here on the season debut of Cougar Nation each and every Monday night throughout the football season. Let's go to Jordan from West Jordan. Who do you want to take that first snap against Southern Illinois?
Hey, how you guys doing? That's a great question. From what I've heard, and you correct me if I'm wrong in what I heard here, but I heard that Bohannon is the more athletic, the better runner, and Jake Retzlaff had a better arm, for the most part, more consistent. I want the guy who can get it to our wide receivers because that's our deepest group on the offense, I would say, and they're probably the most dynamic, the ones who can probably score the quickest. So I want to be using them, and I want us to be able to get whoever can get them the ball the best. But to be honest, I heard that they're both good, so whoever they choose, I'm just hoping that they choose right.
Hey, I agree with you, Jordan. Passing the ball to me is very important. It's not as important as winning, Mitch. Winning football games is the most important. But BYU has a identity with the way that they've been successful over the decades. They are a pass-first team. When you think of BYU football, you think of great quarterback play, and you think of it through the air. This is not power run or option offense. When you think of great BYU football, you think of great quarterback play who's slinging it all over the field. And I like that too. And to Jordan's point, I also think the wide receivers are the best group on the offense. That's the most talented and deepest group. Get them the football at all costs. And I tend to believe that's Jake Retzlaff that's going to be a little better in the passing game category.
This was BYU offensive coordinator Aaron Roderick today on Coordinator's Corner on the two quarterbacks and the similarities between them.
The main thing is we want to make our opponent have to prepare for both guys. So they're a very good defense. They've defeated a Division I team 2 years in a row. They are good program. And so it didn't make any sense to just let them know. They've got to prepare for both guys, dig up some film on Gary. They've got 4 games with Jake. So we just wanted to keep that advantage until kickoff.
That was Roderick on not wanting to announce the quarterback, but you can understand his topics. I think it's also a case of, this is Southern Illinois. Do you need to hold off against Southern Illinois? Now,
how long does the surprise give you an advantage, though? 2 drives, tops?
I don't know. I don't know what that really gives you. I don't know.
Yeah.
You've got film on Jake Retzlaff. It's not like the
offense.
The wheel is not going to be reinvented. He's still going to be a guy that improvises. He's still going to have that sidearm throw. We'll see. I think it's going to be interesting what happens on Saturday. Southern Illinois also has a quarterback debate as well heading into this matchup. They've got a or listed on their depth chart. News, traffic, and weather. We'll get to more of your phone calls next here on Cougar Nation. Mitch Harper, Matt Baiamonte with you, taking your phone calls up to 7 o'clock as we talk BYU football against Southern Illinois this week.